What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. It's comic book day.
Hey,
it's
Zach's
your
back.
Overlord. Hey, what's up, guys? And to my left, the guy on the left.
Hey.
Or what? You're the right.
You're
right.
on my right.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's your left, though. Claudia really should have thought that one
man.
through, and she's like,
There's all kinds of gaps there.
yeah, there's all kinds of gaps. What's up, everybody? I just finished reading Spider-Man, and it was a lot of fun, and we're going to talk about that later.
Because it's comic book day.
It's comic book day. Yeah. I'm really excited about a lot of stuff. I just got back from New York literally about an hour ago. I am so tired. So tired. As you guys know, I left Monday after painting stuff. I left for New York, hit the ground, started setting up, walked to the venue, blah, blah, blah. Like, I got in there at like 6 or 7 in the morning, carrying around like 2 backpacks full of equipment and a tripod, way more than I should be carrying around. And got set up, spent the whole day doing that, hung out with a bunch of cool comic book creators, talked shop, blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
And then went back to the airport and just got back. So I'm
welcome home.
very tired. But we have an exciting show for you today. I'm really excited. We have all sorts of cool stuff going on. We're going to talk about comics.
We're
going to talk about the Valiant Summit. We have a guest today, Creighton Evans with Marvel's Avengers Alliance 1 and 2. Hey, Hyper Power! What's up, Desperate 44? Well, $5.
Welcome back, Overlord. We've missed you a lot. The insanity while you were gone was terrible. Whip them back into shape. Hashtag respect his authorita. Hashtag no musicals.
No musicals. Agent Tico, thank you for following.
It's been
Hello.
a silly week.
It's been a
since
silly
you've
week.
been gone.
Okay, so I tuned into a little bit of the musicals thing. I know that they did that to troll me, but they trolled you guys. They trolled you guys. That wasn't even a troll on me. I didn't have to watch it. I wasn't here. I didn't have to deal with it all. You trolled Alex, that's for sure. Katie Cat, thank you for the resubscribe. But you had to watch it. So that was, you got trolled.
That was just all for
You
them.
got trolled.
They didn't care who got trolled. All trolling was collateral
The trolling
damage.
was there. Definitely not on the people there because they loved it. Some of you may have enjoyed it, but I will never let that happen again. So
That was the one we
no,
get.
we loved it. Some of us loved it. Numbers were half of what they usually were, so a lot of people didn't like it.
A good musical
That's
episode.
what a CEO does. He looks at the numbers and says, we have a weird problem on our channel, actually. This is a good problem to have, so don't think that I'm complaining. Our community is so nice that you're not going to get really like good, honest feedback from them because they're so positive.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes easier with channels that aren't as positive because you know the second something's not really working. But our audience is so nice. That
Which
they're
is a
like,
good
this
problem
is
to
great.
have.
But what it does allow us to do is we get to actually gauge things by numbers. Because what our audience will do is rather than be negative, which is good, they don't want to like mess with the host or anything, they just leave and they go watch something else. So we watch those numbers and we see that's how you guys talk to us. You just leave, and then we know that it's not working. But
It's like any musical episode. People are going to enjoy it, but you can't do more than one for
no,
a series.
no,
It's
no.
the one you
Any
get.
show on Buffy could only do it once, guys. And I just compared us to Buffy, and I immediately regret doing so. That was not my intentions. Great.
Let's definitely not start figuring out
Who would I be in Buffy,
who
guys?
at the Hyper RPG team
Who
would
would
be
Scott?
whom.
Who would on your right be?
I don't
in
think
Buffy- in the Buffy
anybody in that show has a big enough beard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure we're about to see 14 different names though. So, but anyway,
Anyway, and somebody said, Zach, you're obviously not reading Discord today. Definitely not. I've not checked my Discord in a couple days because I've been busy. Been really busy. Anyway, guys, so we have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Back to Creighton Evans is here from Marvel's
Yes.
Avengers Alliance 1 and 2. We'll play the game a little bit, talk to him, ask him some questions. He may talk comic books with us. Yes or no? I don't know.
there's
maybe.
a little bit of comic books involved with the Marvel's
Yep.
Avengers Alliance
Yep.
game. So,
And we are going to start doing interviews again on this show. So we've been figuring stuff out, getting all that stuff ready, and I think we're to a point we can start doing comic book creator interviews like I used to do on the pool. They won't be as long. They'll be much shorter. A quick way. They'll be Skype. So we'll have tech issues and stuff. But if you guys want to see that kind of stuff and you want us to keep diving into the world of comic books, we will do that for you. I love it. You said that you spent the whole weekend reading Exo Manowar, right?
Yeah, I've read like 10 trades of Valiant comics in like 4 days.
Love it. Love it. And that's why they fly me out to stuff.
I
Getting you guys
wanted
hooked.
to know what they were talking about when I watched the Valiant Summit yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, it's time to finally do this. And I got a bunch of comics, and I read a bunch of comics.
Yeah.
Great.
I also read a lot of Valiant on the plane ride to and from, because I need to catch up a little bit before the summit. I need to know exactly where we left things off. But you're reading Exo Manowar because you are going to be on the new Valiant show with us, hopefully.
Yes. And also, I'm starting at the beginning of Act 1, so I found a good list of like here's what to read for all of the Valiant. So I'm partway through the Harbinger Wars.
We should share that list.
Archer, yeah. There's a great list on reddit.com/r/Valiant. If you know Reddit, that's the Valiant subreddit, of course. And they've got this just great list of like here's trade paperback by trade paperback. Here's what you should read. And so I'm in Harbinger Wars now. Archer and Armstrong is next.
Oh man, that's a lot of fun. Archer and Armstrong's a lot of fun. McTrinnis just reset.
Hey,
thank you for resubscribing, guys. If you are watching and you are not a follower, or you found us through the Valiant Summit yesterday, and you're like, oh, I heard they might talk about comic books today. What's this all about? This is Hyper RPG. Please throw us a follow, or you can do that. Hyper Rapid Power Go. Thank you, Vicky. Much appreciated.
Who is that guy with Scott? He looks vaguely familiar, as if someone I haven't seen for eons. Or 10 days or so. #as technology.
The internet is so quick to forget.
Yeah. They forgot me already.
You're not trending anymore.
No.
Happens.
They are really quick to forget. That is no joke. Like you're catching a lot of truth right there. I took 2 months off to build this channel, and my engagement level dropped at like 3/4. Back to analytics.
A lot of time.
What were we talking about right before
Valiant
that?
Comics.
Oh, we're also following and subscribing. This is a grassroots channel. We have no overlords other than myself, the Overlord, and no overseeing company. Despite us being like a studio, we are a grassroots studio, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of support from our community to make this stuff work. So if you enjoy the content and you see that we have all sorts of wonderful stuff going on, check out our YouTube, Hyper RPG. Do it. There's lots of great stuff on there. You can subscribe, and that goes directly into funding the channel. We are a for-profit company, but we are a long way from ever making a profit. We just want to keep bringing you guys awesome content, and the second we start to make a little money, we immediately spend it on the shows and bringing new shows, which the Valiant RPG show is a new show that we will be doing, and we have to talk about the specifics. I think we finally got a cast down, but I asked you to read Exo Manowar because I think you would be an amazing Visigoth in this world.
Again, going back to the beard.
The beard.
That's part of it.
You typecast yourself with
I
that.
did.
Man.
I did. But it's great. You know, when you first mentioned Visigoth, I was like, I've read lots of sci-fi where just for some reason in space they use human names, right? Visigoths could be an alien race. Mm-hmm. And so when I opened up the first page of Exo Manowar, they were like,
Visigoths.
"Welcome to Earth, year 412 AD or something." It's Visigoths from the 5th century, and I was like, I can get behind that. And it so perfectly justifies everything this badass, unapologetic character does, because he's a warrior from the 5th century.
Exactly.
Everything's fine. He's not like Lobo, who's just like, we need to make this guy that's a spoof of Wolverine. It's so genuinely badass.
Have you got to the point yet where they've got back to Earth?
No, that's next after Act 1 is Exo Manowar Homecoming.
We'll talk through your character more later. I think we need to sit down and have a meeting about that. But I see in my head like doing something where you're another one of the guys that came back to Earth, and you've like been captured and experimented on by PRS. You're reading Bloodshot too.
Yeah,
right?
I know about
okay.
PRS.
Okay, yeah. Like we'll talk through all that stuff. But I think that would be a great.
I'm definitely down with bridging that gap.
So I like the idea of having a Visigoth who also may have nanites in his blood, because that would be fucking rad.
Visigoth Bloodshot. You heard it here first.
No, I didn't say Bloodshot. I don't want to infringe on anything. Just
none of that.
nanites.
Just
Technology.
Nanites. We'll see how it all
mean,
goes.
the PRS doesn't just have Bloodshot. They've got the Hard Corps.
Yeah.
Which is, the Psyot.
The best name. It's the Hardcore, so it's HARD. It's an acronym for like Harbinger Advanced.
No, it's not even Harbinger
or something group. Something like that. Isn't it? I thought the first word was Harbinger.
Maybe it is. It's been a long time.
And then the core is the corpse, pronounced core, of course. The Hardcore, the most perfectly 90s name. It's so good.
Gamer Blue, that is not why we moved DFA. To go ahead and tell you why we moved DFA, because we had to. Lots of reasons, actually. We have to make room for new programming, so part of it is if for us to bring new RPG shows on the channel, we're not going to put an RPG show in a 3 to 7 p.m. time slot. Those do about half as well. Meh. So that would definitely kill. Marvel Fan 344 says, boring. No, the talk is boring. Dude, leave. Nobody's forcing you to watch. Just go home, dog. Go home. Go watch something else. You could just... That's the great thing about Twitch. If you're not enjoying it, just tune into somebody else's channel. Whatever. Trolls be trolls. Hey, Hyper Rapid Power, go! The Petrichor, thank you.
Yesterday was great, Zach. Keep the boat afloat. Hashtag Mitsuhama.
Despite the internet problems, it was what it was. It was what it was. But it's a lot of fun. So we have to move things around on the channel to make room for other new shows, but also the guys on DFA are under crunch. And when we first proposed doing 2 separate nights, they were really worried about it. And now we are actually seeing the result of that. Like, those guys are under crunch. They're making a video game for you all, a really good video game. And right after Necropolis comes out, they get, like, some of that team gets moved over to the Battletech game. So they're working really hard, and 2 nights a week is a huge stretch for those guys. And you can see Tyler's been tired lately, and we don't want to overstretch those guys. And we think you'll have a better show if it's condensed down to 1. And ultimately, that's the end goal, is to make better programming, always. Because better programming brings in more people. So, you know.
It's easier. There's a point. New things are also exciting, right? Like you're still getting Death from Above, but as we get more and more new ideas, we're going to want to try those out, and that's part of it's part of the fun of the channel, is that we are constantly trying new things, and you're constantly getting new stories.
Power, go!
Speaking again.
Much appreciated.
Yes, that is the Zach we missed. Love the Valiant Summit. Hashtag as technology.
Oh, the Zach that's a dick to people in the chat. I'm glad you guys missed that. It doesn't do us too good in finding new fans, that's for sure. That's why we need people like Claudia on the channel to be like, I love everybody. And I can be like, fuck you. But let's talk about comic books. It's Wednesday.
Let's talk about comic books. Let's talk about the big news coming out of Valiant. We had the Valiant live stream summit here on the Hyper RPG yesterday, and they announced 7 new books.
Yeah.
Which before that, they were putting out, what, 10?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put these up on the screen.
That's a big expansion for a company like Valiant.
Yes and no. So I have some clarity on that.
Okay.
Clarity of that being that they're not going to just as far as what's in print at a certain given time, no books are being canceled per se, but they're not going to stretch themselves to suffer for quality. I discussed with them afterwards, like what they see happening with all that. And currently, it looks like what's going to be happening is some books will go on hiatus for a little bit while other books come in, and then they'll come back. So there's always a rotation going. But at any given time, there will probably only be 10 books at a time printed.
Okay, so they're adding 7 titles, but we're still getting about 10 books a month.
Yes, and which was really important to them for quality. They wanted to make sure that they weren't like suffering in any way when it comes to the quality of their books, which I've always appreciated about Valiant, and it's part of why it's so easy to follow Valiant storylines.
And that's also something we said about, like, as an audience member, I appreciate when I can continue to follow this universe without having to now double my monthly comic book, budget.
Mm-hmm. So, to go through what we've got coming up here, we've got Faith, which you see in your on the left side of the screen there. Jody Hauser is going to continue her run on that. Art by Pere Perez and Margaret Savage. Oh God.
I'm not familiar with Pere Perez, but Marguerite Savage is awesome.
Yes, and this will be an ongoing. There's no end to it. So the Hollywood and Vine trade collection that'll be coming out, I think next month maybe, that was just the 4 issues that just ended like a week or 2 ago. That was kind of a test run. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Jody before the show yesterday, and she said that entire story came out of her just wanting to be able to name a trade Hollywood and Vine. I was like, wow, that's it? That's like the whole... And she's like, yes.
This is where storytelling comes from.
Like humor.
That'd be a good name. I don't know, just put a book around that.
And if you liked issue 4 of that series, it ties into the Exo Manowar 50th anniversary. Commander Trill meets up with somebody from book 4 of Faith, and they're before Faith takes place. It's a nice little link together. And all that good stuff. So you should definitely check that out. But the ongoing series, it sold so well. Like or 6th printing.
Yeah. Everybody was looking for that miniseries. It was the biggest thing.
Way over the top.
So now, and Faith is so great. I didn't expect her to, because the miniseries just happened, she's just now getting an ongoing. I didn't expect her to show up so early in Harbinger, which she is like. She's that character that makes you love superheroes. She's that character. She's kind of got the Superman, Spider-Man thing going on, where she's a superhero for the right reasons and makes you sort of feel better for reading this book.
It's great too because she's allowing young women and women of, you know, I like that there's like this very body positive aspect to the book. And I like that they've only ever mentioned it like once in a book, and otherwise and that was way back in Harbinger. Like
like in the
back.
beginning, because before she's Zephyr, before she can fly, she's kind of defined by the fact that she's lonely, and it's hard for her to sort of get over that, and that like once she gains her confidence and finds her place in the world, she just goes from there, and that's who she is.
Yeah, it's really great because as a 32-year-old man, I'm reading that book, and I felt this is a great superhero story. I didn't ever feel like I'm being pandered to because this is a book about a woman who happens to be overweight. Never did I feel that. It was like this is a great superhero book with great storytelling and cool beats and really pop culture based. Like it's Jodie's humor all the way through it. Like it's really great.
But she's still cut from whole cloth, you know. Yeah. She's not like, oh, we've got quips and we've got feminism and that's our character. She's a totally complete character. She's a real person. You can totally understand who this girl is.
So apparently Jodie revealed yesterday that this new ongoing will reveal her new kind of superhero or super villain, her main villain, who may be
nemesis.
Someone she already knows, her nemesis. She's finally getting a nemesis, and Faith in that world would be really excited.
Ooh, I'm getting a nemesis. That sounds scary.
You know, she has that kind of like she loves superheroes, so she's always like up on the current superhero stuff. Okay, then after that, coming up in August, we've got Generation Zero by Fred Van Linte. It's coming out in August 2016. Art by Francis Portela. Generation Zero shows up in Harbinger Wars. You're not that far. You've got
actually, I am because I'm on the 4th issue of Harbinger Wars, so I've got one more issue and then 2 tie-ins. So I'm almost done with the Harbinger Wars.
Oh, you mean the trades?
Well, I got the individual issues for the crossover, so I could do them one at a time. Harbinger Wars, Harbinger Bloodshot, Harbinger Wars, Harbinger Bloodshot.
Oh, so I mean, are you reading Harbinger, or are you just reading Harbinger Wars?
I'm reading one issue of Harbinger Wars, one issue of Harbinger, one issue of Bloodshot. One issue of Harbinger Wars, one issue of Harbinger, one issue of Bloodshot.
To just like move through. But does Generation Zero show up that early in the story? Do they?
Yeah, they show up. Cronus first names himself Generation Zero in Harbinger Wars 3. He's like, we are now to refer to as Generation Zero. Leave us alone. We're in Las Vegas.
Yes. They show up again towards the end of Harbinger, and it's really great. Animalia is pretty cool. I like that you have a character who's just unabashingly like, no, I'm a cartoon
into cartoon animals.
I turn into cartoon animals
and
within a comic book.
It's a tragic thing. At first, like, I saw this character, I was like, turn into animals, and every time she turns into an animal, it's a cartoon, and you find out it's because she was raised in this, like, underground, corrupt science facility, so the only animals she's ever seen are in cartoons.
I'll give you guys a quick brief on it. Because you demanded exploding out of the... Oh, Hyper Power, go! Cryogen, thank you for the donation. $20 to the good cause. That sounds culty.
I don't really have a witty message, just supporting. Hashtag Evo the Corp that cares that Zach is back. Join us on Discord.
I know, I miss you guys. I miss playing games with you guys on Discord, that's for sure. It's been a busy couple weeks. Because you demanded it, exploding out of the pages of Harbinger Wars comes an all-new ongoing series starring Generation Zero from New York Times bestselling writer Fred Van Linte, Ivar the Time Walker, and blockbuster artist Francis Portela from Faith. If you have a problem, if your parents won't help, and your cause is worthy, log on to Network Zero because Generation Zero is listening. Years ago, the children of experimental strike team known as Generation Zero were taken from their families by Project Rising Spirit, a private weapons contractor, and raised to be psychic soldiers. After years of taking orders, they have fought for and won their freedom. Now the world's most wanted teenagers have pledged to protect each other tooth and claw while using their extraordinary abilities to right wrongs for a generation without a future, to fight for kids just like them.
Almost sounds like the part in the middle where it's like, if you have a problem and your parents can't help. Sounds like the tagline for the A-Team.
Yeah.
If your problem's big enough and you can afford it,
and even though it says
you can find them.
Even though it says a lot about kids and stuff, it's not a book for kids. Like
Nope.
Generation Zero is much more of like a late teenager adult, look on kids. It's not a kid's book. Coming up in September, Britannia.
Yeah. By Peter Milligan.
Yeah.
Has he written for Valiant before?
I don't know. I don't know if he has. I don't think so. So beginning September 2016, on the fringe of civilization, the world's first detective is about to make an unholy discovery ruled by the fates, manipulated by the gods, commanded by Caesar in the year 65 AD. One's destiny was not his own. At the height of Nero's reign, a veteran of Rome's imperial war machine has been dispatched to the farthest reaches of the colonies to investigate unnatural happenings. So this is like a detective noir story in 65 AD.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
and they were talking about it yesterday at the summit, and they were describing it as like the first psychologist, basically. In the year 65 AD, this detective begins to, for the first time in human history, consider what psychology is. And that's the Peter Milligan of it all that makes me excited about this book.
And this is a limited series, so it's probably just going to be a 4-issue run. And then coming up in October, Bloodshot USA, which I love the way they sell that. It's like, nanites get into New York and everybody starts getting bloodshot powers. What do you think would happen? I'm sold. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Let's see what that's gonna be like.
In Bloodshot We Trust, Project Rising Spirit, America's greatest explorer of classified weapons technology, has achieved a breakthrough, a contagious airborne nanite dispersion prototype that can turn the population of any city into an army of indestructible soldiers. So, New York. I'm guessing, like all of these books, Bloodshot will be the hard badass. He's stronger than the rest of them because he's developed for just that. But
It's gonna have some cool I am the true Bloodshot moments.
yeah, and it's something you and I were discussing a little bit before we went live. I love Bloodshot, and I really like Jeff Lemire's Bloodshot Reborn, but I'm worried that he's getting to Wolverine phase, where it's like he's a mind-wiped soldier, and how many stories can you tell with that, where eventually I think he becomes a better side character to a story, like in the Valiant. You'll get to that one eventually, where he's protecting a geomancer, and he's really great in that because he's like very good to put into a story as like this person with a mission in one direction, and he's not going to compromise, and he's got his morals and his value, and like, hey, this is who I am, and I'm on a mission. This is it.
Yeah.
Jeff Lemire's done a great job with this book of him refining his nanites and stuff like that, but now it's just turning into like crazy Bloodshot everything, and there's Bloodshot Island out right now, and then there's Bloodshot USA. Hyper Up Power Goo! Cryogen, thank you for the $5.
I meant people in chat should join Discord, dum. But you can come to #Evo, totally not a cult.
Okay, cool. So people in chat, join Discord. If you're a sub, join Discord, hang out, play games with us.
Yeah, and this is like a lot of the greatest recurring characters, their origin story is not the interesting story. It's just this is who they are. And for Bloodshot, his origin story is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like just like with Wolverine, there's a really cool origin story, but after that he's an archetype, and archetypes work best in groups.
Yeah. And like with kids, we were talking about just like with Wolverine in Harbinger Wars, you put him with a bunch of kids, and you're like, why does this character type work so well with kids?
Yeah, Wolverine is like the best when he's teaching a child something. It's awesome.
Murder. Booze. Cigars. Why are these our best role models? I don't know. But comic books teach us these things. Coming up in November, this is the one I was most excited about despite Divinity 3, is Harbinger Renegades.
Yeah.
I love Peter as a character. I love the entire team dynamic, especially towards the end of Harbinger. Like, I thought it took a while to get into it, but towards the end, I was fuck, yeah. So excited for that. Written by Rafer Roberts, so this will be a new kind of take on it. I think Rafer did Archer and Armstrong. Yeah,
cool.
The Adventures of Archer and Armstrong. So I'm glad to see Peter back. I think he's been a little too out of the loop with Imperium and Dice Art's current run, but I love Imperium. It's really great. So really excited about Harbinger Renegades. Hairbrained AJ says, yes. Guys, ask AJ in the chat how much Valiant stuff he's read in the last couple days. And then you can ask him why. Because we're trying to get him on that show, too.
Yeah.
And let's see. let's do a quick read through this. Anyone you know could possibly become a psionically powered harbinger with the potential to reshape the course of human history. Your neighbor, your boss, your best friend, your kid. 6 months ago, a secret team of renegade whistleblowers leaked the existence of these extraordinarily dangerous individuals to a stunned world. Today, all across the country, crude DIY psionic activation attempts have left hundreds brain damaged or worse. The emergence of a new psionic in a community often leads to riots and mass violence. Gun sales are through the roof. America is terrified of what could happen next. So this is a lot like X-Men.
Yeah, this ain't your daddy's X-Men, but it's kind of X-Men. I love that Peter is such a reluctant hero, though. You know, where like Xavier is like, there's this thing going on with the X-Men, and we've always got to protect all the mutants and on there. And Peter is just like, nobody else is going to.
Yeah. I love his current state in Imperium. He's just a drug-riddled, like, he doesn't want to talk to anyone. He just, he hides in a bubble in a river. Yeah. He's so powerful, but just so...
I can't. I'm an addict.
Yep, basically.
And that's one of the other things great about him, is he has this flaw. He's an addict, and he never stops being an addict. That never stops being part of who he is. It's good writing.
After that, in November, we've got Savage by B. Clay Moore.
This book looks cool.
Yep, that's a kid with a dead dinosaur in his hand, guys. So this is another one of the prestige format limited series. There will only be one of 4. And this is how they're able to do like the 10 books at a time kind of thing, because you see some of these come out in limited runs at this month, and by other books are finishing up and all that stuff. Beginning November 2016, 15 years ago, the world's most famous soccer star and his former supermodel wife, pregnant with their unborn child, disappeared without a trace. The world believes they are dead, but in reality, their private jet crash landed on a mysterious, unknown island ruled by prehistoric creatures from another time. This is the story of how they lost their humanity. This November, acclaimed writer B. Clay Moore from Hawaiian Dick, and explosive artist Clayton Henry from Harbinger Wars, and Louis LaRosa from Bloodshot Reborn presented a relentless epic of survival in cold-blooded land ruled by instinct alone as Savage makes its brutal entrance into the Valiant universe. So it looks like this is a setup of the parents and this kid and how this kid becomes who he is to eventually release him upon the rest of the Valiant universe. Yeah. James DeBear, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Hello.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, that a prestige format just means it's a thicker book. It's about 60 pages. The Killing Joke was a prestige format. The Dark Knight Returns originally came out in 4 prestige issues. So that's the length that we're talking about there.
Which is
big and pretty.
Awesome.
They have words printed on the side, which is awesome.
Question: have you read Divinity yet?
I'm not at Divinity yet.
Fuck you.
I'm getting there.
It's so good. Divinity might be one of my favorites. This is an example of like when you have such a well-crafted universe with so few characters, when you introduce something like this, you feel it change that entire universe. It's not like Marvel and DC where it's like, look, another universe-changing event that 2 books later you're like, wait,
these are the 5
happened?
books that will feel the repercussions, and then the other 40 that we put
out. But even
you
those 5 in 2 months, you don't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just done. And when you only have 10 books coming out, it's much easier to do these kinds of big things and have real repercussions. Divinity 1 was fucking awesome. And it really set up like a really cool premise of this character who, like Peter, is reluctant. He doesn't want the power he has. And he doesn't even understand fully why he has it over someone else. And he has one goal in mind. And in this, you see how dangerous he could be in that book, but he chooses to hide from himself and like hide in a memory, even though he's like omnipotent. And then this other girl who is super faithful to her country and is just like a badass militant, Soviet Union chick, who has no ties to anyone other than her country, gets the same power. Well, fuck shit. We're in trouble. And that's what's happening in Divinity 2 right now.
Cool.
Divinity 3 just says, Earth has a new god. The world you know is gone. Welcome to the Stalinverse, comrade. That's it. That's all we know. So apparently whatever happens at the end of Divinity 2, it's going to be pretty fucking epic. You see Exo Manowar, Soviet, Bloodshot, Shadow Man. So I'm guessing this is their kind of... I hate doing this, but it's the best way to make you guys understand. Their kind of House of M.
Yeah?
I think so. But I think rather than having someone break out of a memory or whatever, you're going to have the guy from Divinity 1, who is the only other person who has this other omnipotence, have to come out of his memory and be faced with the world that the girl who was one of his comrades has now changed. And it'll probably come down to a philosophical battle of minds. That's my guess, because it looks like a big superhero beat 'em up, but if you go read Divinity 1 and 2, what makes it so great, it's pure sci-fi philosophy books. Like, there's just so much rhetoric and, like, what does it all mean rather than just punching each other. So it's fucking awesome. That's, again, they
Kid is
redefine
good at
those
that.
books. Yeah,
Kid's good at that in
Kid's
general.
really good at that.
Did a JLA run during, like, Forever Evil, which was just all about, like, Stargirl and Martian Manhunter building their bond in the midst of all this stuff. It was just, like, really interesting. This telepath and this child, one who is ancient and lost everything, and one who is kind of the symbol of potential. It's great.
Pretty great.
Matt Kent is awesome. So, Faith, Generation Zero, Britannia, Bloodshot USA, Harbinger Renegade, Savage, and Divinity 3 are the 7 series they announced yesterday. They all look exciting.
They all look really exciting. I want to once again thank you to Valiant for flying me out to cover the summit, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to try to keep doing really cool new stuff like that as much as we can because we have the ability to. It usually just costs too much, but Valiant paid for that trip so we could be there to bring you guys that news. So hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry about the internet problems, but we'll keep trying to do cool shit like that. I did want to remind everyone that coming up after this show is Watching Paint Dry, and Viking Lass is going to go over the damage reports from last week on Death from Above and do some repairs on those mechs. If anyone is watching in the other rooms, do we have the updated purchasable sheet? Because I don't see it on our list here. So if you guys have that, put it on the list, and we'll go over it with the community when I see it pop up on there. So let's go through some more news.
Let's do that.
There's news.
What's going on these days?
There's also Corporate Sins tonight, which is
Right.
that whole like meta role-playing game thing.
Oh,
It's not
yes.
important. Whatever.
Well, you
It's not
brought
important.
up the news.
Yeah, it's not important.
So yeah, Corporate Sins tonight. That'll be fun.
Yep. And then Shadowrun after that. So what else do we got? Tokyo Ghost. Hoo-hoo. So this makes me a little sad. Sad for a lot of reasons. I hate. Should I just? I don't even want to say it out loud. Hyper up, power, go! I don't want to say it out loud.
Hey Scott, welcome back Zach. I've only really read DC or Marvel, but the last few weeks have me looking to buy some Valiant. So, I thank you but my budget does not, you punks. Hashtag Neonet, hashtag Hash Browns.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Look, I'm cool with it. They're a cool company. They're one of the few that has stuck to their roots. Continue to do quality over quantity. They're just a cool group of people that pay people really well, stick to their guns, and don't make compromises. And I appreciate that shit in a comic book company, and it's not too often you get to see that. So I fully support those dudes and hope we get to keep working with them because it's fun.
Plus, they've got the best of both worlds. You know, they allow enough freedom and are focused enough on just great storytelling that they get good writers to do great things, but they're not like. Image Comics is great, and I love all the Image Comics. I love all the Boom Studios comics, the Dark Horse comics that I read.
Mm-hmm.
But part of why I love Marvel and DC is I love a shared universe. That's a lot
too.
of fun. You can't get that. No other medium has that except for sometimes video games, if a franchise goes on long enough.
It all feels so epic.
Yeah, but it feels so epic. But with DC and Marvel, you've got either 60 years or 75 years of things that sometimes are still being referenced. And this you can handle. I know it. I can know it all.
Only 10 books, man.
Good.
Anyway, I'll just go ahead and say it. Tokyo Ghost ends at number 10.
For now.
I didn't want to say it.
For now.
I didn't want to say it. So, Tokyo Ghost, I'm sure you guys know, is one of my favorite books right now. I talk about it all the fucking time. It's Murphy and Remender. It's a match made in heaven. Apparently, it's going to end at number 10. And the cover that they released for number 10 made me pee my pants a little bit. And I was kind of scared.
Coolest covers.
Kind of scared. Oh, God.
No,
Oh,
CBR doesn't let you go full
scroll
screen
down.
ever. It's so annoying.
Let's scroll down. Oh, no. No. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Oh,
I don't
God.
want to. I don't want to.
Looks bad.
Oh, God. I thought we were done with this. I thought we were done with this. I thought we were done with this.
I just wanted to remind you.
It says F you, Zach. Happy birthday from the mods.
Happy birthday, Zach. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Zach.
I already had to listen to this song before I left, then when I guested on Geek and Sundry, and now again, here. Great. Thanks. If you look closely, you can see me reevaluating every single decision that's led me up to this moment.
Yeah.
Wow, all in one go.
I don't want to count those candles.
I did.
I'm sure you did. What's this box?
Open it and find out.
Whatever's in it is probably broken now.
Now it is. What is in this? It's from Uber Baldy. That's all it says. All right, Uber Baldy. Roadhouse. It is a VCR DVD player combo, which I know is for watching Roadhouse on VHS. Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Now I have to find a TV that accepts these hookups. We got adapters for that around here.
AV never goes out of style.
This is a match made in
Roadhouse.
heaven. These two things together are pure bliss. Yeah, matchmaking Zach and Malika. Do you want to be Roadhouse? You can be Sylvania. Thank you, Uber Baldy. I know what I'm doing tonight. It's not sleeping. It's watching Roadhouse. Party at my place, guys. Roadhouse tonight.
Everybody go to Zach's, watch Roadhouse.
This is a vegan cake, I heard.
Ooh.
So let's eat
Are we
this.
just gonna
while we
have
talk
this
the news.
here and eat it with our hands? Is that the plan?
You are a Visigoth, right?
I
So-
guess. This is how a Visigoth eats cake. But that's not how a Visigoth treats comics.
Oh, man. All right.
So Tokyo Ghost ending at 10. Rick Remender does say maybe it's going to come back. You never know with comics.
That's a good cake. I'm actually kind of okay with people celebrating my birthday a week afterwards if it includes cake.
Yeah. You get cake every week. Oh, look at you.
Vegan carrot cake? I'm going to flip my shit. I don't care. Oh, there was wax in that part. You don't need to be sorry.
We cut you a piece, Zach.
Wax doesn't go down very well.
Butter knife here is not optimal for the cake.
We don't
But
have
it
real
will
knives,
do.
and there's reasons for that. While you're cutting, I'm gonna go ahead and talk
We'll
about
talk
some
about
news.
some other stuff while there's, cake. What's next?
All right. We've also got
Oh, I got it.
Rogue One comic book canceled before publication, which is interesting.
Does that mean that it was going to be an ongoing and it's been canceled, but the series that have been written are going to come out? Which happened to like Colin Bunn's Aquaman? Or does that mean they're just like, yeah, we were going to make it, but now we're not going to make it anymore?
I don't know. Let's find out. So Rogue One. Let's see if we can find here. The planned Rogue One prequel comic, a 3-part series and a one-shot. Man, that's a lot to cancel. A 3-part series and a one-shot. has been canceled by Marvel before it could be published. They cite that all bookstores' orders for the collection have been canceled by the retailers. Marvel had problems. Hyper Rapid Power Go, the mods! $2, thank you for that. Wow. Apparently all mods support Renraku.
Please don't eat the wax, Zach. Happy birthday, hope you like the cake. P.S. Of course it's vegan, you dumb dumb. Hashtag Renraku.
The cake tastes healthy.
It is a vegan carrot cake.
It is a vegan carrot, but I mean, like, there's chunks of carrots and other vegetables in here, and it feels like I'm not being bad.
That's a good cake.
Like,
It feels like I'm being bad.
I feel like this is healthy. This is my lunch now, especially since Jimmy John's was ordered at 12:30 and it still hasn't arrived, so I think they messed up my order.
This is all you're gonna eat for the rest of the day.
I guess so. Ah, my Jimmy John's! It was here the whole time!
Asking you shall receive. Hey, could we get like a paper towel? No.
No.
That's not gonna happen. Okay.
Okay. Marvel had problems with the Force Awakens continuity C-3PO special that explained how the character came by his new red arm in the recent Star Wars movie. It was delayed by months, then months again, waiting for Lucasfilm, specifically J.J. Abrams, to sign it off.
That's why it was pushed back so
Interesting.
far.
So I'm guessing that means that they can't get this approved by Disney, because, you know, one of the coolest things about comic books, everything happens faster, and it's always ahead of the curve. I actually listened to a really great interview with Kelly Sue DeConnick where she had a whole conversation with her
That's awesome.
with her husband, and they were talking about why comics are always in the news for certain, like, controversial things. It's like, well, it's not controversial to comics because we're just always 1 or 2 steps ahead than the rest of media, because we can do things so much faster.
Yeah.
You can, as a person, sit down, write it with one artist, and have it out to print within a couple weeks. You can hit topics before anyone else. TV shows, movies take years of production.
And the amount of like money you have to like to put out a single
Yeah.
episode, a half-hour episode of television costs thousands of dollars, and that's a big risk.
Thousands.
That was
Lot.
all told.
Wow.
Yeah.
Millions, dude.
Yeah, I mean one episode of
We
television,
need to
a half-hour sitcom.
You're gonna
Oh,
go center. Here,
Yeah,
he'll
we
be over there.
gotta cut another piece of cake.
What's up? Oh, actually, no.
I'm going center?
You're going center. We put the other mic there. Usually we throw a video in here, but you want to talk comic books with us, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Talk comic books. Let's get you a piece of cake too. Do you like vegan carrot cake?
I'm totally fine with cake, but I already ate, so I'm good.
Okay.
Hyper Rapid Power Goo! Thank you, Geica. Thank you so much. We dance when we get donations.
Yes, I've noticed this.
Even
I've actually
hashtag
started
Neonet
watching.
reads Valiant. Also happy birthday week, dumb dumb.
Thank you for that. We actually don't dance. I was lying to you, hoping you would break out into dance. We just say Hyper Rapid Power Go.
Yes, the Hyper Rapid Power Go.
We're not very good to our guests. Welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So you want to talk some comics with us, right?
Yeah, I'm totally down for.
And then we'll
comics.
talk about your game.
Yes.
But we'll get through some comic books. So did you just hear what we were just talking about, where Rogue One has been canceled, the book?
Oh yeah, I heard about that today. Actually, that's very interesting. I'm kind of confused by it, but you know,
You work for Marvel. Why?
I cannot tell you.
What did
anything.
you do to this comic?
So I can't tell you really anything. I actually don't really know anything about that. I just work on their game.
But,
Don't yell at me.
It seems like it's Lucasfilm though that is the barrier to these comics coming out. I have that C-3PO comic. I subscribed to it like a year ago, and I got it. And I still haven't read it because like.
Well, I could see that being a real problem.
Yeah, I finished that book actually. It was okay.
So this kind of could correlate to a question for you that I'll just throw at you, and you can just say I don't know, and that's fine.
Okay.
Because we were talking about how in the comic books it must be interesting because comic books happen so fast,
Yes.
and when you're dealing with a continuity now with the Marvel universe, and all of these books are supposed to tie directly into the story. Movie producers take a long time to do things.
Yes.
And they always have. It's a problem I used to have when I was trying to work with a feature film company while running a Twitch studio, and me try to say, hey, we need to do this thing, and they'll be like, okay, well, next month we'll get to that. And I'm like, yeah, but the people watching are watching 10 hours a day over and over and over. Like, they want it to happen now.
Yes.
No, we'll get to it next month. We'll put that on our list of things to talk about.
It's very much like a news media outlet. You gotta
Right.
go out now and report it.
I wonder how that's going to start affecting all of these Star Wars comics going forward, because their continuity is tied directly into the films. I wonder if that is going to be like a huge... Comics are usually just so like ahead of the game, and now they have to wait.
Well, they have to wait for the proper time. I mean, you gotta promote what you have. So it makes sense that they have to pick and choose which ones they want to come out at certain times. And right now, they really have some awesome comics. I mean, Darth Vader. I mean, even though it's coming down to an end, it's just been amazing. The Star Wars comic has been amazing.
Jason Aaron. I'm gonna nerd out about Jason Aaron a little bit, guys. Get ready for that. It's gonna happen.
It's such a good. Those comics are so good. Like, I highly recommend them for anyone.
Do
to
you
read.
guys encounter that at all with the games? I know games take less time than movies, but they still take a long time.
Oh, they take a long time. Yeah.
Is there still that kind of like, do they want you to, because I know Avengers Alliance 2, which we're going to talk about later, is tied into Civil War a little bit.
And so it's Avengers Alliance 1, which is what I work on a lot more of.
Gotcha.
But I work a little bit on Marvel Avengers Alliance 2. But yeah, we both did a Civil War event.
Mhm.
And so Avengers Alliance 2 took the Captain America Civil War route, and we decided to go a different way. We decided to promote the Civil War 2 story arc that's coming out this summer. And we
Gotcha.
did our own original take on it, too. So there's not going to be any spoilers for you guys, so you don't have to worry. If you play our game, there's no spoilers. It's our own original take on Civil War 2, so it's a great thing. Yeah.
Talk about that.
And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about, how in comics, that's sort of how it has to work. Because, you guys are making a game, they're making a comic. These things all have to be able to work.
And Civil War 2 is not done yet. It's still going
Yeah,
out.
Zero came out today.
Zero came
We're
out.
0 issues in, and I've
Yeah.
read 2 of them.
And we have a whole entire special operations, special limited time mission for you to play that's the entire arc for at least our game. So
Do you get to make decisions as a company a little bit quicker, or do you have to get approval through Disney for certain like storytelling elements of? Because Civil War 2 is a comic book story, so I doubt there's as much control over that. But Civil War the movie, I'm guessing there's a lot more red tape.
Oh, yeah, there's a bit of red tape here and there. You have to get approval through the right channels. You have to talk to like the Marvel Theatrical. You have to talk to Disney. You have to make sure everything's okay, and go through the proper channels and get it approved. And of course, sometimes they tell you to modify things because maybe the character needs to be portrayed this way or the character needs to be portrayed that way. So that's very important. We got to stick to the brand. It's very important to the characters, and Marvel is a great brand. So.
That is one thing for sure. As a brand, so strong. It's crazy to think too, because when you think about before Iron Man came out, and you tried to define Marvel as a brand,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, that's your
yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's your brand.
Spider-Man, sometimes Wolverine,
Yeah.
and not necessarily the Hulk, but Hulk hands.
Like
Like that's what it is.
hands.
Not the
Hulk
Hulk.
hands.
Everybody knows what Hulk hands, Wolverine, and Spider-Man.
Well, growing up, like I was the weird kid at school who loved Marvel comics. I would come into school with comics. My dad collected them. I inherited his love, and I would take them to school and read them there on the playground. And people would look at me weird because I was reading comics. And now it's like totally normal.
Yep. Well, yes and no. It's still a really small
Well, yeah.
industry. They know the characters.
They know the characters.
They know the brand.
Yes.
The brand has
It's
become
mainstream now.
so mainstream, despite the comics still not selling really well. The brand itself is. Everyone knows Iron Man's mask. Everyone knows Captain America's shield. It's become so like a cultural phenomenon. Like their brand has just exploded.
But
Who
if
would
you
have thought
see a
10
kid reading comics on the playground, you're not gonna like immediately pick on them for reading comics.
Right.
Which,
Might be like,
we
ooh,
have-
you read what? Ugh.
Read? Ugh.
Yeah, you see a kid reading anything on the playground, then
Go read books, kids. Trust me.
books are good.
Books are great.
All right, let's get through. We need to start talking about the comics that came out because
Let's talk about.
we need to get to your. We'll get to your game in 30 minutes.
All right.
So we got 30 minutes to talk
Yes.
comics. Which,
I want to say one thing before I talk comics, just because this happened in the last week. If you're unaware, we lost one of the biggest, one of the best talents working in comics.
I've been seeing his
this
art
week.
posted
Yeah.
everywhere.
Darwyn Cooke was absolutely brilliant. Every creator that worked with him had excellent things to say about him. He's put out some of the best work that we've seen, and we weren't done with him. He passed away at 53 recently. So we here at Rabbit Stew mourn Darwyn Cooke. Just wanted to say at least a little something about him. Like I've got comics that I got maybe 4 months ago that he did the cover of.
I'm guessing, I was going to say, I bet I could type it on YouTube and find a video. So we'll watch just a little bit of this to see how much of his art has influenced you guys without you knowing it.
Yeah.
Back on my channel. The comic world received tragic news today that writer and artist Darwyn Cooke had passed on from his battle with cancer. Of the tragic losses this year of popular artists and icons, this one hits me the hardest. Darwyn's art is distinctive. You can spot it in a sea of Google image results. Whether it's a vibrantly colored New Frontier piece, a darker Batman piece, or even his playfully alluring pinup work, Darwyn Cooke's art can be summarized in one word: fun. And that's not a reduction. It's sadly a rare quality in modern comic book art. Like Joe Shuster's early images of Superman, Cooke's art smiles off the page. Regardless of the subject, the thick lines, flat dimensions, and retro approach evokes a world of adventure where heroes are good, villains are bad, and there's always a brighter tomorrow. Beyond the style of his subjects, the composition was masterful. Consider this Superman piece he did as a variant cover.
So good.
The setting is the janitor closet. We see Superman flying away outside the window, but the piece is primarily concerned with the small room in which the hero has just changed. But why? Take a look at what Cooke is showcasing. The image is bisected down the middle with red, from the dot on the can to the tie hanging over the box. To the right, Superman flies off, leaving the blinds of the window to billow in his wake. The blinds help form the triangle of the composition, and visually and metaphorically connect Superman's heroism out in the world to the private space he just changed in. To the left of the red line sits Clark's hat, glasses, and the rest of his tie, on top of the box that reads "This Side Up." Clark is upright, a stand-up guy. Being a Clark Kent in the world is how we get a Superman in the world. The composition is a commentary on how we can be more heroic in life. We must keep this side up in the janitor's closet if we are to fly up and away, out of windows. To drive the point home, Clark's shirt is hung next to the janitor's overalls. It doesn't matter if you're blue collar or white collar. Whether you use the plunger beneath the window or fly out of the window, everyone can be a hero in the world, but it starts with who you are in the private space. Who you are when no one is looking will determine who you become in the spotlight. Cooke's genius, however, didn't just reside in his art.
Probably gonna stop it there.
He was also a...
We don't have time to go full, but going through that piece, a really good example of how important his work is.
Yes.
Like, picture Catwoman. The design of Catwoman you are thinking of, unless it is the purple one or from before that.
Which purple one?
the one that makes her look like Mouse Woman. Darwyn Cooke designed the fantastic black leather goggles zipper Catwoman that we know and love. So yeah.
Hate to do this to you guys, but
Oh, I just ate, so I'm good.
we eat subs here. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. It's all right. I had cake.
I just had
them
cake,
eat-
and I was
let
like, you know
them
what I
eat cake.
really want after that cake? I want some balsamic vinegar, bacon, salami, hot peppers, and some oregano
After
and
this-
lettuce, and I want it in my belly right
After
now.
this vegan cake, I need two types of meat. That's what I need.
Extra bacon.
Extra bacon. That's where it's at.
So let's talk about comics.
Yes.
We get our comics here from Alter Ego Collectibles here in Redmond at the Crossroads. And they have this super cool website, sublist.alteregocollectibles.com you can go to, where they show today's comics and they're ordered by how many people at that store are subscribed to them.
These are their top-selling books at their store
Today.
And what's interesting, and this isn't like just today. This is like a culmination of what's been coming up, what people have requested. It's all factored into it. What's interesting is I want to see them do this on a national level if possible. I know it would be a huge undertaking, but they are looking at expanding this website they made. It's really neat to track what is selling really, really well for them compared to other stores. Because it's very weird. If there's a My Little Pony issue coming out, it's
yeah.
at the top.
Oh yeah.
And apparently that's Microsoft employees. So
Oh really?
I had to explain Brony fandom to Mitch Gittleman last
Yeah.
week because
Was it at the top?
Right at the top. Yeah,
Okay.
he was like, "What is that?"
It looks like Civil War 2 right there.
Yeah, Civil War 2 Zero issue.
#1 selling book this week. You got a chance to read it, Scott? Do
I
you wanna talk
did.
about it?
This comes a week and a half after the Free Comic Book Day issue that came out on May 6th, and it is another like setting up more of the themes than the plot of Civil War. It's got Jennifer Walters in court talking about how we can't be arresting people because we think they're going to do bad. It's got James Rhodey being approached by the president saying, I want you to be the Secretary of Defense. And it's got Carol Danvers.
Is this President Obama?
This is President Shadowface.
Okay.
President.
Marvel Shadowface.
President, we don't want to confirm or deny who's
Yes,
president.
we don't want anybody thinking that we're saying anything about the president.
Oh, really? They don't want to have Magneto putting President Bush on the White House front lawn and threatening him? Because they've done that.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier to make fun of the president when it's President Bush.
Okay. Touche.
He's telling Rhodey like, hey, remember when Tony Stark was in the cabinet? You can do that too and have an equally as uninteresting storyline, because superheroes in the cabinet show why we have it's a superhero story. It's not a guy in suit story. But anyway, so it's setting up the themes. We see the Terrigenesis of Ulysses, the Inhuman. It was really weird that this came out after the Free Comic Book Day issue. I was like, why? I feel like I saw the setup already, and then I saw this.
Maybe people missed out on Free Comic Book Day like yours truly, unfortunately.
I couldn't go either, so fuck you, Scott.
Do they not have it on the Comixology, the Free Comic Book Day issues?
They probably do. I just haven't gone to check them out yet. I'm still a little behind. I'm like a couple of months behind on my comics.
And that's another problem of I have that issue in general of I have to go to Free Comic Book Day because they put out important comics that are plot relevant that they do not release ever again. So that happened, and then now this happened. So yeah, Civil War 2 has begun. Actually, it has not begun.
Well, not quite begun.
Not-
It's
not-
getting
yeah.
started. No, I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it.
Yeah, it's
No, I
getting-
find it interesting. So, Carol is going to be apparently on the side of we shouldn't see who's going to commit future crimes and stop them.
No,
I'm not-
Carol's on the pro
Is that
prediction side.
That's what I figured should happen, considering the current run of Ultimates.
Tony
and her
Stark is
position
going
in
to be on
Ultimates.
anti-predictive side. He's going to say, "Hey, we can't just arrest people just because we have a guy telling us that like people are going to be committing
I
crimes."
feel like everything that's happened since Bendis started writing Iron Man is to make Tony Stark a character we like again. Have you been reading his Iron Man book?
Yes, I have.
How Peter Parker is Iron Man now?
He's very Peter Parker. I mean, he's got
Hey,
Mary Jane Watson working
In the
for
book.
him.
I thought that was the ultimate middle finger, like, hey, you guys don't like Dan Slott?
Well, you read that comic where they went and crashed Peter's party, and it's like, oh look, I have Mary Jane Watson as my assistant. She's totally just my friend here. Yep.
Thanks, Bendis. But I feel like he's ultimately trying so hard to make us like Tony Stark because the comics have been shitting on Stark for years.
Well, they did a lot of stuff with Iron Man, like. Oh, phone going off.
Ignore it.
They did a lot of stuff with like Civil War where he did kind of seem kind of villainy, especially because like hiring supervillains to go out and hunt superheroes, stuff like that. And then they did an arc where like he lost his memory, he took his memory away so he could sort of revert back to his good self.
But then they made Superior Iron Man.
And then
Where he got the Axis thing where he flipped and he became evil, and then he decided, you know what, I like this version of me better. I don't want to fix myself. And he was a dick.
Well, him and several other people, like it was him,
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth, and who was the other person? It was Havoc, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything with Havoc.
No, they forgot about that.
But-
They want us to forget about that.
But Sabretooth's still a good guy. He still
Kind
got
of.
flipped.
Kind of. They kind of ignore all of that now after
Yeah,
Secret
after
Wars.
Secret Wars, yeah,
Well-
like because Tony's back to being normal Tony, and he's of course, trying
And
to
not
change.
just normal Tony, but like Tony with, okay, I'm loving the international Iron Man, like the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking loving it. I'm like, great. I want backstory on Tony Stark. I don't have that. And
Like
I
the-
want it. And I like it.
And I like the twist that his mother and father aren't his mother and father. I like
Which
that.
I like that came out of the last run before Superior. I like some of the stuff that set up with his brother,
Yes.
with Arno Stark, and all that stuff. There was some really cool stuff
I
happening
love
there.
Arno.
Right.
I love the idea of Arno.
I do too, but unfortunately, they never really dive into the like psychology of his backstory. It's just like, oh shit, parents aren't his parents. Arno's his brother. Bah!
He's bringing it up as well in the
Yeah.
comics. Like he's constantly telling people, oh yeah, that picture of my dad isn't really my dad, but he's my dad. You know, he's the guy who raised me. It's
So I like that this new book by Bendis is at least attempting to dive into, okay, if that wasn't his real parents, let's tell some stories with his not real dad and what position he had in that world. And it's so far been really good. And I feel like making Iron Man on the side now of I don't want to see future crimes is Bendis, again, reforming Tony Stark to be like, come on, guys, you can like him. Because Carol Danvers, I feel like it's a smart move because just like the Civil War movie was smart to give you a clear, I don't want to say clear, to make it impossible for you to decide who is right.
Yeah.
I think they need to do that in this kind of book, too.
Well,
In the old Civil War, you're like, Tony's the bad guy.
Yeah, because he also makes it so clear. Like in the beginning of Civil War, you're like, I could kind of understand where Tony comes from, and then every single thing he does from then on gets worse and worse and worse, where it's impossible to be on his side anymore.
Well, you also had a little falling out of Cap. Like he wasn't perfect either. Like he lets the Punisher join, and the Punisher does end up killing people, and he feels bad for that. And then like the scene where the final climatic scene of the original Civil War, where Tony and Cap are fighting in the whole big superhero battle in New York, and when Cap has to get held back and check out and see the ruin he has been responsible for, like he realizes he goes too far. He's the one who takes the triumphant like superheroic step back and says, "Whoa, I went too far. I'm almost a supervillain right now. I need to."
Which, although again, shows like Tony could have done the same thing. Tony could have been like, we need to stop this crusade, and like there are plenty of crimes that are low priority for a lot of cops because they don't necessarily agree with the law, and like Tony could have done that too. He just chose not to because
He's just a straight up dick back then.
Well,
and I
you're
think
right,
Fraction did some cool stuff with him back then. That was really great and told some great stories. And then it just felt like a bunch of people trying to figure out, like, how do we tell stories with this version of Iron Man? He's not human anymore. He's just the futurist.
Yeah.
And they defined all his actions based on, like, the future, this is what's best. I mean,
that
everything
was the
Hickman
last
did with
Iron Man
him.
arc before the Superior arc. It
Yeah.
was like the whole futurist. He makes like Madripoor is like turning into a future city and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And I think Hickman did that with him a lot too, where it's just like just going that straight route of like, he's the futurist, he might make decisions that are hard for everyone, but it's like it doesn't matter. There's not humanity involved in it. And I think Bendis is trying really hard to bring humanity back to his decisions.
And they did that with Hulk too, where like Banner's like, I haven't really been contributing to the, scientific efforts of my peers. Like I'm just running around with the Hulk, always trying to deal with the Hulk. You know what? I'm gonna try and do these incredibly good things instead. And it's like almost every superhero who has the incredible intelligence goes through this at some point.
Mm-hmm. It's weird how much the Hulk, was it Mr. Green?
Mr.
Or
Green,
Dr. Green?
Dr. Green. Yeah, you got it. Dr. Green.
It's weird how well that worked. Because
Yeah.
it's so, from an outside looking in, if you try to tell someone about it, it's going to be like, that's stupid.
silly.
It's
That's
so
silly.
silly. But it was really fun.
It was really good, especially like just the antagonism between the two of them, and a smart Hulk versus Banner, and it's good stuff.
Smart Hulk locks Banner away, creates an AI that's too smart.
For him, yeah, and then he has like a flowers for Algernon moment where he's growing back to the stupid Hulk again.
See, I said it was going to be hard for us to get through the comics, and this is why.
Yeah,
Yeah. You have another fan here. You have another comic fan talking.
But now we're going to talk about a comic probably none of us have read, so that we'll get into that
Number
area.
2 bestseller this week.
But yeah,
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. I really love Harley Quinn. I'm like super behind on Harley Quinn.
Batman animated series forever, man.
Yeah, I do like this new series. It is fun, but like right now we're doing this thing with the Red Tool, who clearly they're making fun of Deadpool a little bit, because he looks exactly like Deadpool. But I don't know what any of it's about because I'm super behind on Harley Quinn. So that's continuing.
Yeah.
Deadpool merch
of
for
Deadpool.
hire number 4. Still riding off the success of the movie, I feel. I wonder if it's getting a boost because the Blu-ray just came out too. But I mean, it's not a bad book. I wouldn't put it at number 3 best book of the.
I gotta say, my favorite Deadpool arc was the one right before Secret Wars. Like that stuff was really good.
Yeah, when he finds his daughter and good shit.
Good stuff.
Good shit.
Yep.
And then ever since Secret Wars, it's been like, what the fuck is going on? Sometimes it's fun. I like Jerry Dugan's writing, and I liked it a lot more when Brian Posehn was writing with him, and it was really funny. But
I'm a little about the whole him hiring a bunch of other mercs to sort of go out and be Deadpool and stuff like that. Like that, I've been reading that as well, and it just weirded out. I know it's like some sort of villain plot, but
yeah. So check this one out. Number 3. So we've also got Lumberjanes number 26
I haven't checked out Lumberjanes
out
yet.
today, which does not surprise me to see it this high up on the list. It's an amazing book. So you haven't checked out Lumberjanes at all?
No.
You will not be disappointed. I've
Check
yet
it
to
out.
meet a single person who's picked up that book and been like, I don't like this. It's kind of like how everyone likes Adventure Time.
Okay.
It's the comics version of Adventure Time without being the Adventure Time comic book.
Gotcha.
Like, it's Adventure Time's like, it's not for everybody, but if you're being recommended it, then you'll probably enjoy it. And
Yeah.
in this case, like, you know, comics, right?
I should totally check it out.
if you can still like comics, then you can enjoy a book that is exciting and fun without having to be all whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody loves Lumberjanes.
It's pretty great. Great stuff. Superman American Alien number 7. This is the one being written by
Max Landis.
This is Jock's issue.
Oh.
Have you read this one?
I have.
Tell us about it.
So this is the conclusion of Superman American Alien. Have you read this one?
I love Superman American Alien. I haven't read this issue, but I love Superman American Alien.
I hate it.
What?
When Landis writes stuff I like. It's so much easier to just hate Landis.
It is really easy.
Damn you, Landis!
He knows Superman.
But I can't help but love him, especially because my exposure to him is usually through Superman stuff. But yeah, so this one, each issue has kind of been an important, like, here's some formation of Superman stuff, and this
Yeah.
is the culmination of that. I expected it to go differently than it did. I expected it to have a lot of like Luthor in it, and there was none.
Nah.
Instead, it's Lobo.
Yeah, I did notice that. I did get spoiled that Lobo is in the comic. Yes.
Lobo shows up, and Superman fights him, and that's basically the whole issue. But because it's this series, then that turns into a discussion about who are you, why are you different, you know, and fundamentally why Lobo and Superman are the same on the surface and yet absolute opposites.
Yes. Totally.
Good book. More Deadpool.
Last Days number 1.
Last Days of Magic. Oh yeah. That has me
Why?
interested.
Wait, okay.
Why?
What is happening? What is this book?
I don't.
Why?
Doctor Strange and Deadpool, Scott Koblish and
Oh,
Jerry
the
Dugan.
Empirical. Okay, so his
Well,
wife's
okay,
getting in on this.
So magic is dying
Yes.
across the Omniverse, or if they, I don't know if they call it the Omniverse anymore, or since Secret Wars.
I guess it's still the Omniverse.
The Magic Verse.
Sure. I mean, they're supposed
Multiverse.
to... The multiverse, maybe. I don't know what they're calling it now. Magic is dying. It's a part of Jason Aaron's story, and they've been tying it into Secret Witch, too. Why Deadpool should be a part of this? Because Deadpool's selling well right now.
Well, I think it ties in because of his wife. What's her name again?
The demon woman.
Yeah.
The demon woman of the underworld.
And she's probably losing some of her powers and stuff because of the Last Days of Magic. That might be the tie-in there.
They're like, can we shoot Deadpool into this? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All new Wolverine. Yes, X-23. Love
This
it.
book's great, guys. I was actually just talking to a friend in New York last night. We went by Midtown Comics. I'm going to talk about the books I picked up in a little bit. And it's really good. He was like, I love that they put her in the costume. That's great. And I was like, have you been reading the book? He's like, no. I was like, fucking do it. It's
Great.
fun. It's really great. Laura's always had really good stories told about her. Anytime they kind of focus on her in a single book, it's good. She's a great character. The problems that Wolverine has over the years, I feel like she has them, but she's a more dynamic character, so she's more fun to explore.
Like her thing is that she's Wolverine with like potential for character growth.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's a fresh start. She's great at it, and X-23 is just a great character overall.
It's fun. You guys should check it out. Legend of Wonder Woman number 6. Nobody?
I'm 2 issues into this series, so I'm super behind on it. They're the retelling of the Legend of Wonder Woman. It's really pretty. It's well done. My girlfriend's reading it and she loves it.
All right, we're going to start going through these a little bit faster because of time. Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death, International Iron Man. Again, I'm a big fan of this book. I'm excited to read it.
It's
I
been
didn't get
good.
to read any of the books that are coming out today. Usually I pick like 10 and I read them. Actually, I read Spider-Man. That's all I read.
I usually have to wait until the end of the week before I can read them all. So
Usually I dive in, but I just got off a plane like right before the show. But I read some of the books I missed from last week, and I am going to talk about those. Uncanny Avengers number 9, Star-Lord number 7, Doctor Who, Ant-Man, Old Man Logan.
I read that one. It was awesome.
Old Man
Let's go
Logan
there.
is
Okay,
so good.
I did read Spider-Man number 4.
Dark Souls
because,
#1 comes out.
No, that already came out.
Oh, that already came out?
Yeah, that already came out.
I need to get that.
And it's not good. I hate to tell you.
Aw.
I hate to tell you. It came out like a week or two
praise the
ago, and it's
sun.
sold off. It's sold out. And everyone I talked to that read it, I flipped through a couple pages. I was like, this works so much better as a game.
I just got done streaming Dark Souls 2. I've streamed Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. I love the Dark Souls universe. I'm sad to hear that the comic's not that good.
Yeah, they were like blown away that it sold out at their store because everyone at the store was like, don't. Just no bueno. But Spider-Man number 4, I got really excited by this cover when I saw it because it's everything I love about the original Spider-Man, which is his rogues gallery. We've got Black Cat, Hammerhead, and Electro. And then I see, it's Miles Morales Spider-Man, which would be a good fit for me because I miss my Spider-Man and I don't like what Slott's doing at all. And I was like, I got really excited. The book is nothing to do with these 3 villains at all. Hammerhead kind of shows up at the very end, so I'm guessing it's tying into the overall story that's being told since we know Hammerhead works for Black Cat. But it's a good issue. And it's Bendis doing what Bendis does well. Like at the end, you're like, man, did I really like? If you buy the book, you're like, did I just spend like $4 on a couple pages of two friends talking? Yeah, I did. Oh, but it's pretty fucking good.
But Ultimate Spider-Man has always been Bendis' best work.
Exactly.
Ultimate Spider-Man, especially with Peter Parker leading up to Miles Morales, so good.
So Gold Balls is now a part of the same high school that. Yeah,
Nice.
They brought Gold Balls into
I can't
it.
believe they did that.
Yeah.
Gold balls.
And he's
think I've seen that
he's
yet.
known in the media in this universe because the X-Men went, he left the X-Men publicly.
Is he gonna be like the Booster Gold of the
Maybe.
Marvel universe?
I don't know, man.
It's a tall
So-
order.
Probably not, but so he's kind of like a celebrity at their high school now, and Genki wants to meet him, and Genki thinks Miles should tell him that he's Spider-Man so they could be like superhero buddies, and Miles doesn't want to, and the whole issue is them in the cafeteria arguing about it. And when Goldballs finally like sits to talk to them, and the little bit of conversation comes out of that, it's great. It's just really great dialogue. It's Bendis doing Bendis best, and it's a lot of fun. And just that, whenever it's just like, I think at one point, Goldballs says, "Are you two a couple?" And he's like, "No, we get that a lot though." He's like, "Yeah, if you were a couple, you'd probably be broken up by now." But he's like, "Yeah, but it's just like a great play off, all the people on the internet, like they're just friends, and they do a great job of playing that friendship." So then I said Dark Souls, Haunted Mansion, Jim Butcher's Dresden. Like, this is where their pull list gets really interesting because there's stuff that shows up like Doctor Who and stuff that gets ahead of stuff like Karnak.
Talk about Future Quest, just because it's the thing that if right there next to Karnak on the left. Future Quest, if it's a thing you didn't know existed, you should know it exists. That a bunch of the Hanna-Barbera properties
That's amazing.
are being brought together in one comic book.
Space Ghost, Johnny Quest. Who else is there?
Birdman's
we
in
got
there.
Birdman.
Fucking Birdman.
Birdman?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, this if you recognize any of these cartoon characters, you know what this is. And if you don't recognize any of them, then it's probably not for you
I
because
recognize
it's based on a bunch of cartoons.
I remember the Triceratops character. I can't remember what show it was from.
I don't either.
So
Must be on like Cartoon Network.
yeah, all these were on like Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers, I think. So that comic, I read it. It's super fun. It's your cartoon characters.
Like, I know
playing together.
the LA shops I used to shop at so well, and their numbers here are drastically
Super different.
Sabrina number 5 would have been at the top of that fucking list. It would have been number 1. Sabrina number 5 sells out of every fucking LA store immediately.
That's
you
amazing.
cannot get that shit. Karnak would have been at the top.
Love the idea that anybody's reading Karnak. It's the coolest
Those
Inhuman.
are the biggest differences.
Karnak's been brutal. Like his
Karnak's
character
been
changed
really-
so.
Yeah, it's
He took a
big difference.
hard 180.
That's Ellis. Like, hey, go for it.
That's also happened to a lot of the Inhumans lately, as like people are writing them and are like, "Has anybody read this character?" There's like 12 of us who have.
Well, like I remember he ended up throwing himself out the window because he went through Terrigenesis because of the releasing of the Mist. Like that was the Inhumanity bit. Like right before Inhumanity hit, he took his own life, and now he came back. He got better.
Yeah, he escaped death
Yes, he escaped. He punched his way through death.
Yeah, hell was not.
That's how awesome
he was able
Karnak is.
to detect the flaw in hell
Yes.
and just left it.
He
just
did,
left.
And he detected that flaw with no powers.
Yes, that's
Well,
Just his brain.
ability.
technically, according to that comic, he went through Terrigenesis. His power got improved, but they it looks like they've retconned that.
They
so-
retcon in this book. They're saying he has no
Yeah,
power.
they're saying he hasn't gone through
That's
Terrigenesis.
who he
Even
is.
though there's still Terrigen mist going around the world, you would think he would go through it.
I did not know that Invincible number 128 came out today.
Yeah,
I'm
more
excited
Invincible.
to read that.
Invincible's
I
awesome.
need to read Invincible.
Mark
I've heard
plays
so
with his
many
daughter.
Good things about it.
Mark plays with his daughter, and I almost cried. It's just so aggressively adorable.
Ah.
And then other crazy shit happens because it's
So
Invincible.
you've read 128.
I have.
Oh
It's great.
man, I need to catch up so bad. I'm about 10 issues behind.
Oh man,
I know.
it's been so good. I mean, I think
Terrible.
Invincible is one of those comics that
I'm
just has
catching up
gotten
on my
better
indie
for
comics.
128 issues straight.
It looks like Spawn 263 not relevant. I mean,
Angela's awesome. Angela's amazing.
well, but she's not with Image anymore.
No,
so
she's not.
No.
She's been great in the Marvel universe.
Yes, she has.
It makes perfect sense for her to be Thor's sister.
I have
I buy it.
I have a
I
buddy
think it's
who
great.
Everybody refers to that comic as "fuck you, Todd McFarlane." It's the only way I'll call it. You know the story behind Angela, right?
Oh yes.
How she ended up
Yeah.
at Marvel?
Yeah.
No, I don't know how she ended up at Marvel.
So the whole idea behind Image Comics, which you of course know this, but I'll explain it real quick to our readers. The idea behind Image Comics is creators owning what they make. After X-Men #1 sold better than any comic in history, these guys like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane were like, why are these multi-million-dollar sales not reflected in our paychecks? Some of them were, some of them got a lot of money.
Yeah.
But so they start this new company to own a bunch of stuff. Then Neil Gaiman writes Spawn, and when he's writing Spawn, he creates the character of Angela. And he then wanted to keep the character of Angela, and Todd McFarlane said, no, I own Angela because you wrote it for my comic.
Yep.
And Gaiman was like, do you even Image? You started this company. There was a big lawsuit. Neil Gaiman won. He got the rights to Angela and sold them to Marvel,
Yep.
which is definitely going to piss off Todd McFarlane.
Nice.
So that's why it's always good to support an Angela
And
comic,
Angela-
and because Marguerite Bennett is probably one of my favorite.
And
probably my
Angela's
favorite
been one of
writer.
the best comics that I've been reading. Like, it has been consistently good.
It's
So good.
really great. It's a really unique story for Marvel, especially. It's like a lesbian woman who is a god figure saving her love from hell.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated.
It's very complicated and Shakespearean.
Yes.
As they love to nod it to that.
Yeah. Pretty fucking great. So I'm just kind of going through here. I've been enjoying Beauty. Trying to see if there's anything else I'm reading. The Lumberjane special came out today. It's weird not to see that so much higher on the list. Exo Manowar annual came out today.
Exo Manowar. My dad used to read that comic all the time.
That's part of the 4001 crossover, right?
No.
No?
It's a collection of stories.
Oh, the reprints.
No, they're new stories with a bunch of other people doing
Okay.
like little Exo Manowar one-offs.
Nice.
They're really good.
Look forward to reading
Exo
that
Manowar
after
is
I
a
read
good
a bunch
comic.
of comic source.
Yep. This one here. Yes, there's a bunch of different writers on this issue. Lots of different stories. But before we run out of time with our talking comics, I want to go over. I picked up a couple books that I missed last week because it was you and Mitch holding down the fort.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys talk about Southern Bastards last week?
We did not talk about Southern Bastards because neither of us read Southern Bastards.
Okay. You're not my friend anymore.
I've heard so many good things about Southern Bastards that I
I
really
have
want
the
to read
first two
it.
trades in my apartment. My girlfriend reads them. I should really do
Southern
that.
Bastards came out yesterday. Last week. This is every once in a while I forget that this is my favorite book on the stands because it's been so many delayed issues before the next one comes out, and then I pick it up and I'm like, this is my favorite fucking book. God.
Try being a Berserk fan.
Yeah. It's so good, guys. So something I've been wanting to happen for a year and a fucking half finally happened, in that we're finding out about Earl's daughter, and she is a fucking badass. We find out that Earl's daughter was in Afghanistan, and the book ends with her heading towards the town where her father was murdered by Coach Boss. Oh, I'm so excited for that, and all the racial tension that's gonna come out of that. Like, this book hits so fucking hard, and it does not pull punches. Like, obviously written from someone who grew up in Alabama and knows, like,
The reason I should read that is because I'm actually from South Carolina, so I know some people like
read this book.
Yeah.
I lived in Arkansas, and I can tell you, like, it hits home on so many levels.
There's a reason why we laugh at Jeff Foxworthy jokes. It's because they're true.
Oh, it hurts, man.
It's the only reason.
There's so many comments. Like, I always go back to that very first thing Jason Latour said about in volume number 1. It's just like, this book is for all the bastards that made me have to leave the South, and he talks about how the other ironic thing is you miss it so much. Like, there's this longing for it, this charm to it, but you fucking hate the people that live there.
Oh, yeah.
And the charm that they bring. So this book is super badass. Earl's daughter is a Tubbs, and it's weird because I can say, like, they've in what is this, issue 14? In 14 issues, even though like 6 of those issues weren't even about, actually, even almost, there's hardly any fucking issues about Earl Tubbs. But when they say shit in this book like, you're a Tubbs, don't let that define you, you know what that means. The presence of this family is so felt, and he's done such a good job of crafting this universe that has weight to it. And you feel like, oh, girl, but you're a Tubbs, and you got to go represent for your dad. You know, like, shit went down, and you got to go represent. And it ended, the last storyline ended with Coach Boss being in a really interesting position, and it's going to be really great when she goes to town. You know that her and the sheriff are going to have a run-in and probably team up against... Oh, God, I can't wait. It's just so good. This book... Have you been looking at the art and everything in this book? Just... It's so brutal. It's so brutal. So, if you're not reading Southern Bastards, just do it. Like, shut up. Get off the internet. Go buy that book. But stay, watch our shows, support our channel. But shut up and get off the internet and go buy that book. Oh, man. It's so good. I read it on the plane, and I think there were moments where I went, oh, God. Oh, man.
That's me whenever I read a chapter of Berserk.
Like, okay, read this little part. Now, before you turn the page and read the next part, know that right here, this guy that she just kicked the shit out of, he saw him beating his own kid earlier. And told him to, like, cut a stitch to hit himself with it, which is a Southern thing that we always had to do. So she just kicked the shit out of him, and then she looks at the kid.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, like, that shit, it pulls no punches.
Yeah,
it hits
brutal.
hard. It's hard.
Basically, this woman saw a guy beating the crap out of his son, kind of beat the crap out of him, and was like, go find me, she says the term a switch, find me something to whip this guy in. And in not nearly as nice language, this young boy goes, you're black. I'm not doing anything for you. Like, you're black and you're less than my dad who just beat the crap out of me. And this woman is just like, fuck everything.
Really? Really?
And that's the reality of it. All right.
Next one you have
That's
there?
I checked out Ultimates number 7. I'm enjoying this book.
Yep.
Al Ewing is basically continuing Hickman's, like, really universe expanding Marvel world, which I love. I love the Marvels, like...
I love Miss America. I love Blue Marvel. I love all the characters who are there.
America Chavez kicks so much ass.
She's
I want
awesome.
her in more stuff. And I love it when people bring her into stuff. Like, I loved Young Avengers.
I just love that moment.
So good.
I love that moment in, like, I think it was like Ultimates number 1 where, like, she teamed up with Spectrum and, like, Spectrum's going the speed of light and America Chavez is still moving. She's able to look at her and she's like, she's moving.
America Chavez is a character a lot of people don't know about in the Marvel Universe. She basically kicks stars that travel through dimensional portals. It sounds silly, but she is such a badass character, and she's a great, like, Hispanic female character that I want Marvel to put in the forefront.
Great character.
She's a great character, and she's written really well. Everybody's handled her really well up to this point. It helps when you have a book like Young Avengers that had Gillian writing it, and it was so...
With young Loki and Kate Bishop, all that good stuff.
So good. And it's weird that she's on this team because the rest are like scientists.
And
but she fits. She's great.
one of their heavy hitters, really.
Yeah. This book is basically a bunch of science. It's the most diverse book that Marvel has out for sure. At first, I thought that the first couple covers made that intentionally so, and it kind of belittled the own message of the book. But after a couple issues, they stopped even touching on that at all. And it's just a great book about scientists trying to help the Marvel Universe. I picked up Renato Jones' The 1%, which is a really fun indie book.
I've not heard of this one.
That sends a lot of mixed messages.
Claudia really liked this one.
She liked it?
She did. She talked about it. She was on the show.
Okay, good. It's crazy.
Man, I see Vision.
This
I
comic
picked up
I
Vision
also
number
read.
7, but I
Holy
haven't
shit.
read number 7 yet.
That comic, if by the way, if you like are just a fan of the Scarlet Witch and the Vision and their relationship, and you're not following in the series, this comic is all flashback, totally stands alone. It is about their relationship, and it's tells that story. It's so beautiful.
There's a reason why we Marvel fans love the Scarlet Witch and Vision relationship. It's just so good. It's
dysfunctional as shit.
It is, but it's wonderful too. It's also very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's even more dysfunctional when Wonder Man gets involved.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a game to talk about.
Yeah.
We do.
We could talk on and on and on and on and on and on about comic books.
We really could.
Totally.
We really could.
We really could. Trust me, I can do that.
We should sometime. But for now, Marvel Avengers Alliance.
Yes, Marvel Avengers Alliance.
Now, before we talk about the game, Joe, can you go ahead and roll the trailer for Marvel's Avengers Alliance 2?
Who call yourself Commander? Bring forth your Avengers. Let them fight to save all those precious lives. Will only bring beauty to your annihilation. Our alliance is broken. Our world is torn apart. Whose team are you on?
Back with Creighton Evans. Creighton, thank you so much for stopping by today. So they just saw the trailer for Avengers Alliance 2,
Yes.
which is in the App Store, correct?
Is in all mobile devices. Yes.
All mobile devices, including like Windows Mobile.
Excuse me for a moment.
Gonna go get that? Gonna go
ahead and do
get that?
that,
Cool,
yeah.
cool, cool. When did that game? It just came out, right?
It just came out like I want to say like March. I think it was March.
Yeah, it's a really new game. But you guys still have and support Marvel's Avengers Alliance 1 on Facebook
Yeah,
as a
we do.
Facebook free to play.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to check out today. And I'm sure they might have some questions in the chat about Avengers Alliance 2 on the App Store, and
Sure.
we'll go through both.
Yeah.
And talk about both. So, can you tell us a little bit about Avengers Alliance games and what you do for the company?
Sure. So Marvel Avengers Alliance is a turn-based, three-party RPG classic akin to like the old Final Fantasy games from the past. And basically, you take on the role of the agent MA1.
And I just took a rocket to the face.
You're pretty awesome, aren't you?
Took a rocket to the face.
Right now, you're currently
Am I
fighting
a person or an LMD?
You are a person.
Okay.
You are the agent. And you are going to go around saving the world by recruiting heroes, which you can recruit for command points.
My hair is unflinched. I was just like,
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. Don't worry.
Alright.
You're not finished out. You have
You
supplies.
put one of your feet back for like a second though, so that happens.
You're doing great. Use a grenade. So yes, you get items and stuff like that, and you basically what you do is you progress through the game through our PVE system, which is our stories, our seasons, as we call it. So we have season 1, which consists of 12 chapters, and each chapter has 6 missions.
Okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty big for each one. And then we have season 2 as well. Season 2 is almost coming to an end. We're at chapter 11. And chapter 11, we're going to have 2 new worthy. We actually, season 2 is actually a spin-off of the Fear Itself storyline.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And so we have, we've combined it with the story about the incursions prior to
By the
Secret
way,
Wars.
how fucked up is that Odin's now just like making his brother this like head of defense for Asgard? Like,
Odin's a
really?
little...
Come on, Odin.
Odin's a
Give me a
little...
fucking break, dude.
Oda's up to some shady shit these days.
Yeah, Odin's into some shit.
He apparently forgot all of Fear itself.
Pretty much. So we're doing our own spin-off of Fear itself. We've combined it with the incursion. So while the worthy are showing up smashing face, we also have incursions happening. And so
Some good timing.
it's a lot of fear is in the world, and it's powering up the serpent a good deal.
The
And
incursions are happening at the same time?
yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So you have Fear itself and the incursions happening back to back. But in this universe, we also had a great cosmic event that took place, and now this special element called Isotope 8 has spread all over the world, and that's where season 1 sort of came in and was like, this new element has come all over the world, and supervillains and superheroes need to go out there and gather it up because...
Which, did you know in this Ultimates book...
They talk
by
about Isotope
They talk
8.
about Isotope 8.
Yeah!
So 8 is being used by the Pegasus Foundation to create not a cosmic cube.
Not a cosmic cube. Yeah, Isotope 8, it's pretty powerful, you find out. And we've been doing this for a while, so Isotope 8 was our thing that we came in with. And use it to enhance your heroes, their skills, their abilities, stuff like that. And it makes you stronger. And that's why the villains want it, and that's why the heroes want it to stop the villains. So you just recruited Iron Man.
That's a lot of characters.
That is a lot of
Wow.
characters. We've been going on for over 4 years now, guys. We've been on this game for 4 years. That's a lot of characters.
Elsa Bloodstone?
You have Elsa Bloodstone in the
You have her
game.
father too, or just her?
No, just her.
Okay, still badass.
Yes.
Elsa Bloodstone is badass.
But-
we got Frost.
Yep.
I mean,
Lots of good people.
gonna do another
Basic-
random.
I saw you just-
Everybody.
She-Hulk.
Nice.
Shatterstar.
What?
Shatterstar.
Does he have like the little head mask and everything? Little two swords.
The 2 swords. The 2
Vibrates?
swords for each swords. Yep. They vibrate. Yep.
Stupidest power ever. What does it do?
Cuts people up.
I like Shatterstar so much as a character when I was a kid. Even to this day, I'm like, I don't fucking know what Shatterstar is like. What's his deal? All right, so I've unlocked Iron Man.
Yes.
The legacy of the X-Men is. Oh, I still don't know what that character's about.
You hit continue. You recruit your first character. As you go through the game, you will recruit more characters. There are certain missions that can only be unlocked if you recruit certain characters. There's things in the missions called deploys, where you have to deploy an individual hero by itself to go and accomplish a task. And of course, there's ways of getting more currency using like the flight deck, which is our sense of saying Shield's sending off these heroes to go deal with situations elsewhere in the world while you're off trying to save the day.
So down here at the bottom it says add ally.
Yes.
These are friends of mine on Facebook.
Yes, they are.
So I can add friends.
Yes, you
my
can.
game.
You can add friends to your game, and you can actually use what's called a distress call, which I bet you're going to be learning about here in just a second.
Hey, I got Sodax P is now following. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Ooh. You just
Iron
got a missile to
Man,
the
Black
face.
Widow, and little Asian Zack in the back.
That little agent took fire to the face without their hair getting messed up. I am pretty badass.
Widow's been hurt. Check your inventory.
Aren't you like basically dead?
Well, she'll be fine. Just give her a health pack. She's fine. See, look, she's full heal. Good.
All right, Black
Well, I
Widow's
thought he was
turn.
basically dead. Nah, it's full. We're good.
Oh, he's fine.
Martial arts combo.
So yeah, we have our season 2 is actually coming rapidly to an end, and next is chapter 11, and chapter 11 is actually going to feature 2 worthy that's going to be released at the same time, because actually you get to use the worthy yourself.
Okay.
So we have different worthy.
Just define the term.
Oh
worthy
yeah, the
for
worthy.
us.
Okay, so the big bad villain of Fear itself is the Serpent. He is Thor's uncle. basically. And he has a bunch of minions called the Worthy. And the Worthy were his minions that he had working under him. And
Juggernaut with a hammer. That's all you need to know, dog.
There you go.
well, Juggernaut's not the one wielding the hammer in this game, even though we have Juggernaut in the game.
Okay. So you have your own.
We have our own Worthy.
Ooh.
We have some original ones, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of
Some what if universe type stuff?
what if universe type stuff.
Nice. Zibbaman, thank you for following. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Zimmerman.
So can you reveal that, or is that kind of under wraps?
Well, most of them are already out. So
Okay.
obviously we have Scotty. She's there because she's like one of the original ones that
Yeah.
we wanted to keep. Let's see here. We have Nullbreaker of the Worlds is actually Luke Cage.
Nice.
Let's see here. Angrier just got released. He's Damon Hellstrom. So
Okay.
Damon Hellstrom has
Okay.
got like this weird, like, you can actually look at it once you get out of here and you can see like the team page and look at all the different uniforms and stuff that people have. Because it's not just the characters, you can also get their uniforms and change them out and make them look different.
Nice.
Art's good on it too. That's a good looking Black Widow. It's
Yeah,
a good
Sam
looking
Woods.
beard.
Sam Woods does a lot of the art.
Ustashvi,
Great.
thank you for following. Much appreciated. So what, like, you said when you were a kid you got into reading comics,
yeah.
like at a really young age. Is that what drove you to work on a game about comic books?
Well, I was always wanting to be a game designer like since I was like a freshman in high school, and I've been working towards that. And so when I actually moved here initially, I went to DigiPen and went for the master's program there. And I heard about, through my connections through DigiPen, that people over here at Disney were looking for a new game designer, and I was like, would I get a chance to work on a comic book game? So I did it, and to be honest, you know, I'm being like the normal typical student, like I'm not gonna get this job, but because of my love of comics, like I totally got my foot in the door, and they totally loved the fact that I was totally into comics and I knew my stuff about it and could contribute a lot to the design process when it came to that, and especially like stories and characters.
Awesome. So what came first for you? Were you a comic book fan first or a video game fan first?
Comic book fan first. My dad was collecting them even before I was born, and so when I came old enough to read, like I remember having a month's worth of comic books. Like my dad would get, you know, comic books every month, and he had this huge stack, and we would go through them throughout the week and just read like huge stacks.
So like, what were you reading back then? Like, what were the comics that you first fell in love with?
Oh, Spider-Man for sure. Spider-Man
Yeah.
was like my first big love when
Me
it
too.
came to comics. I fell into New Mutants and stuff like that as well later down the road, and my favorite character is Magic, actually.
Right.
And
Magic's awesome. It's a good favorite character to have.
And Magic actually helped me get this job because when they were interviewing me, it was around the time of our third special operations, our third limited time event, and that was Avengers vs. X-Men. And they hadn't released it yet, and they were asking me, who's your favorite character? And I said, oh, it's Magic. I love Magic. And they go, that's weird. And I was like, why? Because she's about to get released. Like, we're about to ship Spec Op 3 and she's the hero. And I was like,
There you go. Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about, like, you never know how an interview's going to go. Sometimes just the fact that you like comics will be what gets you the job.
yeah.
I
being
wish
a
that's
fan
what
helps.
got me jobs. Be like, yo, I like comic
That's
books.
what
I
got
like-
me here.
That's
I like
true.
That's
well,
why I'm here.
You also have to know how to do things.
Yeah.
so.
Damn it.
That too.
That's
you can't
But
just like
but
comics.
it's a nice plus. It gets you in.
Yes. So you heard it here, folks. There's no downside to reading as many comics.
Thor
as
just
possible.
jumped in and was
Outside.
like,
Hey, look, it's
"Fuck."
Thunder.
That's
Epic overkill. So Thor at any time can just jump down and be like, fuck you, and then fly back out.
So that's the benefit of getting a bunch of friends to play. You get distress calls, and distress calls
Ah.
allow you to call in one of their heroes to come in, and it can either be their agent or it can be one of their heroes.
Gotcha. So if like one of them is playing at the same time, they'll get a distress call and be like, oh, I'll go help out.
Well, they don't have to be online. It's just every day you get a refresh on your allies. So
Nice. I'm a level 2.
you're level 2, moving
Boom.
on up. Still have to
Alright.
get through mission 1.
I'm getting there. Comic books also help you get dates, said Zimmerman.
Mission 2, I guess.
In my case, it did. So, if you're making a joke, joke's on you, dude. My girlfriend's pretty cool, and we talked about comic books the first time we met. So,
My girlfriend also very cool. I met her because we both read comics. She got me into the X-Men, and
There you
because
go.
of her, I'm now a huge X-Men fan.
But by the way,
read more comics, dog.
I just want to drop this. Chapter 11 confirmed, by the way, guys. The 2 new worthy, Black Knight and Ghost Rider.
What? get a Ghost Rider and Black Knight up in there.
New.
We had a new follower, by the way. I missed the name. It popped up and I lost it. But thank you for following, new follower. I got a frag grenade.
Shredder's just like the perfect comic book character.
Which one is he?
I have to double check myself because the names.
There's like 9 of them, right? I can't
hold
remember.
Hold on. I got.
Golden Age one on a horse.
It's whoever Thundra was is Ghost Rider, or not Thundra. Titania.
Titania?
Yeah, whoever she was. Titania. Oh, hold on, I just need a list of the worthy. 1 second.
As long as there's a skull on fire, it'll be awesome.
Oh, Zibberman was actually...
His bike's going to get a nice improvement.
Zibberman was actually being serious. He's like, yeah, I got one coming up Saturday because we talked Deadpool, which led to X-Men. Now I have a date. So, I thought he was trolling, but in reality, PSA from Hyper RPG, read comic books, helps you get dates.
Yeah. Yep. I can't remember right now. I'll figure it out. 1 second. Yeah, and then we have a new Spec Op coming out that's going to be around the Black Vortex that's going to come out soon. So. And that one we're going to have Mantis as the Spec Op reward hero, and there's also going to be a second hero. It's going to be Moondragon.
Sweet.
You guys love Guardians of the Galaxy? I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
I do. I've been not rereading, but Dan Abnett's run on the Marvel Cosmic is one of my, like the mid-2000s Cosmic run is one of my favorite things Marvel ever did. And I've been reading the new trades that Marvel put out in 2014, 2015, and 2016 from Jim Starlin as just a throwback to like, Infinity Gauntlet. It feels like I'm reading a book from the 80s 100%. Starlin has not changed his writing style at all.
Starlin always sounds like Jim Starlin.
All right, so Black Knight is going to be Mach.
Okay.
He's the Breaker of Faith.
Cool.
And then Ghost Rider will be Graythoth. So there you go.
All right. And then when does remind us when chapter 11 comes out?
It's coming out soon. Trademark soon.
We don't have a date yet?
We don't have a date yet.
Okay. Soon.
Breaker of Wills is Graythoth.
Okay. So you already mentioned that this game features a tie-in with Civil War 2, the comic book.
Yes.
And Avengers Alliance 2, which is in the App Store, is Civil War the movie.
Yes. Captain America Civil War.
How does this incorporate Civil War 2, the comic book?
So for this one, we take the basic gist of it, where Ulysses has joined the Inhumans. He has predicting stuff, but there's a little bit of a twist. We have our own original narrative. So the only person who can talk to Ulysses and translate his predictions is Maximus the Mad. So it makes an interesting twist. Like, are we really going to listen to Maximus the Mad, who's telling us...
Maximus never has
I
ulterior
just got
motives.
like tingles, by the way. Maximus is my single favorite Marvel villain, so I'm like, oh, I'm super down.
Is he a villain,
Maximus
though?
is a great
Is
one.
he a villain, though?
That's a good question. Yes,
He
he is.
sometimes does good things. He sometimes does bad things. He kind of...
Maybe he's just misunderstood.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe his brother's a dick.
Maybe his
He
brother
never
is a
talks
dick.
to him. I wonder why. Anyway,
Being all
Maybe
kingy
he
about
spends
it
most
and
of
shit,
his life
taking
in a
all the
prison
credit
cell
for
in Adelaide.
everything.
and this isn't the first time like Maximus might be doing something shady, because like we've had other events where Maximus has come in and been like, I'm totally working with you guys, and it's totally been not
So
the case.
Brian 80s has asked multiple times, when is Mysterio coming out? And then he says, don't let me down.
We have many interesting characters. And there's
It's such a
plenty
political
more.
answer. Marvel might be watching. We have many characters coming up.
There's a lot of interesting and strong content out there that for him to take a look at.
Who's your favorite hero in this game and the new game?
Gosh, that's a loaded question. This is a little bit of a personal thing, but my favorite character in MA1 is Hercules, because he was my first character I got to make.
Okay.
So he's got a soft spot in my heart, and I also love how he laughs at people. It's great. And then for MA2, Wasp. You guys know why. If you guys play MA2, you know why Wasp is great. She
We can go
keeps your
full
party
screen.
alive. She's awesome.
All right. And it's
Boom.
Janet Van Dyne Wasp?
Yes.
Right.
It's the original Wasp.
The Wasp.
The Wasp, not Nadia.
Nadia's cool, though.
Nadia's cool.
We like all wasps.
Yes. So you didn't recruit Hawkeye?
Wait, what? I probably missed that.
Would you? Think about it long and hard.
The joy of reading a chat room
Hey,
and
Hawkeye's
listening.
great.
Okay, Hawkeye is great.
Dude, Hawkeye's the man, dude.
Hawkeye's the man.
Hawkeye's the man. That doesn't
Hawkeye is so
necessarily
cool.
mean he brings a lot to the table. He can be great and still be Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's the man. I don't know.
Everybody's about to defend Hawkeye. I do love Hawkeye. Clint is awesome.
So here's a funny
And
thing
Kate's
about
actually super
So here's a
awesome.
funny thing about Hercules and MA1. When we initially released him, there was a lot of talk on the forums about like why is Marvel bringing in a Disney character?
Really?
And we were like,
Wait, what?
yeah. There was like a whole bunch of people who were like, why are you bringing in a Disney character into a Marvel game? And we were like,
I just like to imagine the hardcore Marvel fans that also joined your forums that were raging out.
Oh, yeah.
and super upset.
oh, there were other people defending it. And it was funny to watch. It was funny to watch.
It's okay to be a Marvel fan. It's okay to be a fan of this game and not know Hercules is a Marvel
True,
character.
true.
But if that's the case, why would you complain about it, right? Like, if you're complaining about Hercules being in this game because of Disney, it means that you don't know enough to be complaining about them doing the Marvel Universe wrong in the first place. Because Hercules isn't like a super D-lister in the Marvel Universe. He's like relative to comics, he shows up a pretty good amount. He was the main character in Hulk for a while.
Let's be honest. If Mickey came into the game, would anyone really complain? Come on.
I mean, can I kill Mickey?
Here's the
Can
thing.
he be like the enemy?
On
and, like,
PvP?
In one condition, Tony's got to make him a suit that gives him like iron ears.
Oh,
or
Iron
whatever.
Mouse.
That's what I want. I want
Yes.
the Iron Mouse with the big old red or gold ears. Then I'll play
it.
it. I'm in.
What is the name of your development company, by the way? What is the company name?
So we're Disney Interactive.
It is just straight up Disney Interactive?
We were originally Offbeat Studios. We got acquired by Playdom, and then Playdom got acquired by Disney. So we're now Disney.
Gotcha. All right, so store. I've apparently unlocked some upgraded pistols.
Yep, you can get some stuff.
Somebody did say that Herc was super cool.
He is
and
super
number
cool.
one.
He is super cool.
And if you haven't been reading the latest Hercules comics, you should. They are great.
They're pretty interesting. I feel bad because the second I picked one up, I was like, oh, I enjoy this. This is not going to sell very well.
Yeah, it probably won't sell very well. That's why I'm actually saying you should go buy it because
Yeah.
it's great.
I think it's hard to resell that character. Like,
It is.
and they're trying, like, he's doing a good job. Is Abnett writing that?
Can't remember.
I think. Huh?
I can't remember.
I think it might be Dan Abnett writing it.
But I like the twist. Like Hercules is like, I need to actually step up and be the original hero, because Hercules is like the original superhero, right? So he's like, I really need to step up and be a true hero, and stop being the guy who goes around getting drunk.
They kind of went more Eternal Warrior on it, which I thought was interesting. Like, I feel like that's something Valiant did really well with Eternal Warrior, and I thought that was a good route to take with Hercules. Of like, rather than having him be the drunk idiot, he's a dude who's been alive for thousands of years and should be like a crazy battle technician, who just knows how to win fights because he's been in so many.
Yeah, he's been alive for how long?
Forever.
He's as old as myth.
All right, where do I
Literally as old as
where
myth.
do I recruit Hawkeye? Because I do want recruiting.
Well, it looks like you
I want Hawkeye.
So go to the flight deck, maybe. Maybe it'll
Just screw the push on Hawkeye. Just never get him now.
collect your character there.
Here we go. Unlock exclamation point.
Oh, that's to get
Oh, no,
your.
that's
Nope,
that.
you don't
Never
want that. I think you need to keep going through the mission.
Keep going through the mission?
Yeah, I think you need to finish mission 1 here. So just keep going.
So what's it like developing a game for Facebook as your platform?
Yeah.
Like, how does that different than, conventional, I guess, for like a veteran gaming?
So we were developing on it before we switched over to mobile with MA2. So Facebook was a really great place, really great platform to put our game on. A lot of good players out there, and it's just been a great place to keep the game there. We also branched out. We had a mobile app, and we had an off website version of the game. But Facebook is where we're at. Facebook is where the game was born and bred, and it's gonna be there for forever. So
When you develop a game for Facebook, are there certain things you have to think about that are different than like if you were just gonna put it out on the mobile? Like, what
Oh,
are
yeah,
what are
it's
the big
very
fundamental
different.
differences?
well, one is like Flash, right? There's a lot of no Flash on mobile devices. So the development cycle for this game is vastly different from mobile games. So,
Are you gonna have to shift to HTML5 then?
we'll have to see in the future if that's going to be in the cards or not. We'll see.
All right. Zach over here is still just ganging up on poor Hydra agents.
I'll get over it.
Gotta kick all their butts.
Boom.
So you don't have Hawkeye yet. You haven't gotten to that part yet.
Nope.
Yeah, Black Widow. Black Widow's awesome.
What? You dodged one of those hits.
He only
dodge
dodged
both.
one. He dodged one.
Somebody asked if Alpha Flight will ever show up in the game.
Oh yeah, never
There's no current plans to bring in Alpha Flight, but there's tons of new
Want
characters
Puck
coming
jumping around.
out. No Puck jumping around.
How about the Shi'ar Imperial Guard? So we got them. All those.
Look, we're
ridiculous
just gonna
guys.
start going deep into the Marvel universe here and be like, "Come on, dude, what's up? Like, come on."
Well, I gave you Guardians.
I want some bird aliens up in this shit.
I want my Marvel knockoff
All right,
of the Legion
all right,
of
all right,
Superheroes.
all right. You want more? You want more? All right. Here's a little bit more, guys. Here's a little bit more. We haven't had a general release in a while. A general release is just a hero who we put in the store for everybody to purchase. They don't have to jump through any hoops to get them or anything like that. There's this character. He's not that big of a deal, but like, he's like part of some sort of space cop organization. He's been in the comics. I don't know.
You talking Nova? You talking Richard Rider?
Well, we have Nova. We have Sam Alexander Nova.
You talking Richard Rider though?
I think that might be his name.
You talking Richard Rider?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's Richard Rider Nova. Richard Rider Nova is coming to the game.
I said Dan Abnett's run of the cosmic universe is my shit.
Yeah, and he's gonna be helping out the Guardians
Hey,
in
look, there's
Spec
some
Ops.
Hawkeye.
There's Hawkeye.
Doing the Hawkeye initiative pose. If this camera was flipped from behind, we'd be getting total Hawkeye butt right now.
Gotta say, we've taken a look at the Hawkeye initiative page.
Yeah. I can now access the in-combat store.
There you go.
So be purchasing like health packs, grenades, stuff like that.
Yeah, if the fight's really too hard for you, you can do that, or you can click it out.
We're gonna go ahead and cluster bomb.
Cluster bombs are good for against a whole pack of
That
guys.
makes sense considering it says cluster and I was just like clicking things.
Yep.
Come on, Zach.
Shoot her!
She gonna die.
It's Madam Viper.
Card. Oh, okay, all right. She's got a little bit more HP.
She's the boss.
She boss lady.
She's the boss lady.
Isn't Ryder dead? You shut your mouth, Cassius335. You shut your mouth.
In our universe, Richard Rider isn't dead.
He might not be in the other universe.
And he will be a separate character.
He might not be. Look. Star-Lord got out. Star-Lord got out of the Cancerverse. Thanos got out of the Cancerverse. Where's Richard Rider? They've hinted to it when Bendis first started writing Guardians.
They hinted. They've been hinting.
We don't want to talk about what went down, is what Bendis keeps saying. I'm just like, dude, come on, where's my Richard Rider at? Though?
Well, it's like what happened at the end of Original Sin with Thor, right? What did Nick Fury whisper in his ear?
I feel like Jason Aaron has like a 3-year plan left for that book.
We're gonna find out someday when like Jane Foster is done being Thor or whatever, but I don't think it's
because we know it's not gonna last very long because King Thor has had the hammer for a very long time and he talks about only missing it for a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like Jane's gonna die.
But then again, they retcon all the stuff anyway. So.
But I know. But this is Aaron's run though.
But a little bit.
This is Aaron's story.
In the
By the way,
perspective.
Lady Thor, Jane Foster Thor, we just got her in the game too.
Nice.
She's in the Civil War Spec Op with us.
Nice.
So, like, that's something to go over with the latest Spec Op that we have currently ongoing, is we actually offer you 3 paths in that game to go through. You can choose to be on the predictive side or the anti-predictive side.
Cool.
And if you go the anti-predictive side, you team up with Lady Thor. And if you team up with the pro side, you end up teaming up with Blue Marvel.
Cool.
So.
Hawkeye. Bing, bing.
And it's a very interesting story and involves a lot of alternate realities and time travel to go along with it. So.
Nice.
For fun.
Ow! I'm gonna die. Can I kill her? Yeah, I can kill her.
And we have the triumphant return of Doctor Doom as well.
Excellent.
God Doom or just Doctor?
Doctor Doom. Just Doctor Doom.
You don't want to throw like game-breaking God Doom in the mix?
There's only really one God Doom right now.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's 2:52. There's a clock up there that we put up there, and I'm not even paying attention. We're talking comics here.
Comics and games.
We're talking comics and games. Creighton, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us today.
Great.
I hope you had fun nerding out with us.
Holy.
So this is a free-to-play game that you guys can just load up on Facebook right now. I'm totally not going to keep playing as Hawkeye. You know?
Why don't you get your reward there?
Ooh, what did I get as a reward? Where is the best place for them to find all the newest and coolest news and updates on the Marvel Alliance games?
So check out our Twitter at MAA Insiders. We always update some good stuff there. You got some 5 command points right there. That's a lot of command points.
Boom.
Check out MA Insiders. Check out our forums for any updates there, as well as patch notes for the latest stuff that we have going out. And of course, go to Facebook and our Facebook page for our game as well.
There we go, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into Rabbit Stew today. It's Comic Book Day. Go out to your local comic book store, show some support, pick
Buy
up some
comics,
books,
read
have some fun,
comics.
read and stuff. It's good for your brain. Thank
Next
you again.
week will be DC Rebirth. Tune in to see me freaking the fuck out.
And I will care none about that.
I'll be watching that.
I'll be like, cool, what are you talking about? I don't, their logo, whatever. New logo, cool, yeah, okay.
Hey, I'm hyped that they're bringing back the original Superman. I mean, he's already been back, but
Yeah, he's been back, but now they're killing off.
That's
the
it, guys.
We'll see.
Stick
See you
around
guys
for
next week.
Watching Paint Dry with Viking Last. We'll be right back on Hyper RPG.